Hey, and good Friday morning, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majeski here, back with you here on the Weather Nerds YouTube channel with the weather report. Yeah, I'm coming at you about an hour earlier than I normally do, and the reason for that is because I got to play TV weatherman today. I got to go in and do the noon show for Fox 5 here in Atlanta, so I wanted to make sure I got you guys updated here on the weather report and get you guys ready and set for the upcoming weekend. Now, if you are coming to this broadcast after the live posting, if you could please do me the favor, do me the pleasure, do me the honor, hit that subscribe button if you can, hit that notification bell to keep alerted on future updates. Our motto here is very simple. We want to keep you prepared and not scared. There's enough of that crap going on out in the social media universe. I personally don't care for it, but my job is to keep you informed and not scare the bejesus out of you, especially with the tropics right now. There's so much going on there, people posting stuff out 10, 12, 14 days out. That is just a bunch of horse crap. We know it's going to change. We know we're getting to the heart of the hurricane season. Things are going to get going, but we're going to keep you steered right and keep you informed and get you ready to react should anything happen. Now, let's go ahead and get into our forecasts here for this upcoming weekend. Let me get out of my studio mode here. And I thought this was very interesting. Check this out. I mean, we had, for highs and lows across the United States, almost 100-degree temperature swing. I mean, look at that, 25 degrees. That's at Peter Sinks. That's that typical place there in Utah. And then North Shore, California, 121. I mean, wow, almost 100-degree temperature swing in temperatures yesterday. Phoenix yesterday hit the all-time August high temperature of 118 degrees. They had some extreme heat there in the Southwest. Now, the good news for you folks in the Southwest, we're going to be backing those temperatures off here in the days ahead. We're going to see some things begin to change and a little more what we'll call seasonable, but still hot, obviously, for the Southwest. But anyway, that's what we're dealing with right there. Also dealing with a few thunderstorms. Had some hefty thunderstorms up here across the northern plains coming into Minnesota for this morning. We'll show you those here in just a second as well. And we got some scattered storms here across Florida out into the Gulf and out the Atlantic seaboard right now. So look at our surface map out there for this morning. As you get that old stationary boundary down here across the southeast, we got some hefty thunderstorms again coming in through Minnesota. Some pretty strong gusty winds. Had wind gusts up there 70 miles per hour in some places. Some of the damage reports there. Definitely much cooler out here in the northwest. That's for sure. Behind that cold front, temperatures in the 40s and 50s. Pretty refreshing. Not bad by August standards, to say the least, out there. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some of those hefty thunderstorms up into Minnesota this morning. Let's go look at radar Omega out here. And we've got these storms. They are decaying. They are weakening. We had some warnings on when I came on here about an hour ago. They have been weakening. But some of these wind reports, there's 70-mile-per-hour wind reports here, 76 miles per hour near the airport measured there. So these storms are really packing a punches. They were moving through the Grand Forks area here earlier this morning, and but they are now weakening. But there is another round of severe weather up in this area. We're going to break that down for you guys here today, here in just a second, and we'll get you going on that. Now, the other story we continue to watch and monitor is the fact that we've got the heat building back in here. Look at all these heat advisories back up in here again in the middle of the country. And you folks in the Northeast, get ready. We've been talking about this for the last couple of days. As we go into this weekend and go into early next week, you guys are going to see that heat coming right back at you again, and it's going to linger. We're still going to be dealing with the oppressive heat down here in the Southwest, Southern California. One more day, the temperatures are going to back off, but we still got some pretty intense heat out there once again for today. But we are going to start slowly chipping away at that as we go into the next few days. All right, let's first talk about the tropics. Let's go get out there and see what's going on out there right now. Dexter is no more. It became extratropical yesterday afternoon, and it's moving out across the northern Atlantic. These are our two hot spots right now, and I'm going to be honest with you, neither one of these two either really kind of got me excited for anything out there. The wind shear there up to that 20% one off the Carolina coast is not a big deal. And the other one is still fighting Saharan dust out there, causing some problems with it as well. As we look at the satellite imagery, we're still seeing that brown hue. See that brown hue all up in here? This is all Saharan dust, folks, all out there. They got a tropical wave sitting right about there. I guess if it pulls away from that dust, it looks like some clearing out ahead of it. Maybe it'll get a chance to develop. We'll see if that happens or not, but right now, it doesn't look promising. Got another pretty good wave here coming off the African coast. It's this one behind it. If the dust doesn't kill that one too, that's what the models have been locking on. You may have seen some postings on social media showing a big, like yesterday or 2 days ago, there was one night showing a double barrel, major hurricanes coming in. Then there's another one yesterday, a big hurricane coming to the East Coast. I think it's that wave right there. It's locking in on, but we got a long, long way to watch this, folks. And I guess I tell you guys over and over again, you see somebody posting anything, it is now the 8th of August. And say, hey, look, here's something on August the 20th. It's 12 days from now. It's not going to be there. It's going to change, okay? That's just a clickbait tactic, which I will not fall for. I will call people out on it when they do it. But, if we get inside that 7 to 10 day window and it's something that's consistently showing up, then we'll start kind of monitoring, get it up. But right now, don't get your dander up. Don't worry about that, all right? So let's look at your European model here. Again, we're going to looking at the ensemble models here. Again, we got this weak system here. Not worried about this one. That's the other one that's going to the north. That one we could develop if it gets away from that dust. But it's this other one behind it that's got the real lot of stuff. But it really diverges. It depends on how strong this Bermuda high is going to be up here to its north, okay? If there's any kind of weakness, it's going to turn and make a turn up the north. If it stays strong and goes this way, then it's going to shunt into the possibly the Gulf or up along the East Coast. So it really kind of depends on how strong that high pressure ridge is going to be to its north. And we really don't know just yet. There's been model inconsistency with that, so we're going to watch it very closely and see where this turns out right now. We are getting into the heart of the hurricane season. I do anticipate we're going to get a hurricane here in August. There's plenty of latent heat out there. It's not as hot as 24 or 23 out there as far as heat availability, but it's still summer. It's still the time we're supposed to get hurricanes. And so as we get deeper into the month, past the 15th, I think we'll have a better idea of what we're going to get. Out there on the other side, the Pacific, they got a couple of tropical storms out there, Henrietta and Ivo out there right now. Henrietta's moved off my screen. This is Ivo sitting up here. Henrietta's moved on off. But both storms, believe it or not, could briefly touch hurricane status. How about that? This one's up there. Look at it. You got a couple of hurricane postings in here. Minimal hurricane as it's going north of the Hawaiian Islands. So the North Island might get some pretty good surf there for the surfers out there, but that's going to pass to the north. Not going to be a big deal for them. And then Ivo will sitting at 60 miles per hour this morning, could briefly touch hurricane status maybe by heading into tonight. But it's moving west-northwest at 21, moving at a pretty good speed, and then it'll pull off into some colder waters and should not be a problem there. So that's your tropical update here for this morning. Let's go ahead and take a look at your severe weather outlook here for the next 3 days, taking you through the weekend. And this is your day one outlook. Obviously, we've had some severe weather this morning up into the Dakotas and going into Minnesota. This is the hot zone here for today. It's got a storm. It's got a few up here into the northwest. You notice up in here, the southeast and stuff. But this is going to be our trouble spot. You got marginal going all the way down into New Mexico, Texas, back into Nebraska. But obviously, it's this yellow zone, Minneapolis, St. Cloud, Fargo, Sioux Falls. This whole area is under the gun here for today. So let's break down the categorical breakdown. We'll look at the tornado threat here for today. Got a bullseye right there. Got a 5% there coming into this area. St. Cloud's in this. Long Prairie, Little Falls, a lot of small towns. Park Rapids. So we're talking about a 5% risk for tornadoes. Got a tornado risk of 2%, which includes Duluth, Minneapolis, down towards Sioux Falls. So we got potential tornadoes into that zone. This is obviously going to be the hot zone for winds. We've had that. Obviously showed you that. We had 70-mile-per-hour winds reported earlier this morning. And we are looking at some heavy wind chances here, 15% here in the yellow. And this will probably be the same zones as well for hail, generally same place there across this area. The brown there, that's 2%, obviously. Michigan's got part of that, Wisconsin, Nebraska, and parts of Wyoming. So that is your day one outlook here for today. How about day two? Let's check out day two together. Here's your day two. I'm going to continue with that frontal boundary that's going to set up some severe weather marginal from the UP of Michigan back toward Kansas, also the foothills out in Colorado and parts of New Mexico. And that yellow zone slight risk for tomorrow includes Madison, getting near Milwaukee. Chicago's just on the cusp of this. Green Bay and out toward Waterloo, Cedar Rapids. So that'll be your target zone for tomorrow. And then going for your day three, not looking much. It looks like day three going into Sunday. Just a marginal risk there across perhaps northern Missouri and Kansas. My guess is this will probably change a little bit. It always does day to day, especially summertime. It's just that time of year when we have to deal with minor fluctuations from model run to model run, not to mention thunderstorms from one day to the next. It does make a difference. All right, let's talk about the excessive rainfall. We're definitely seeing our fair share of that this summer. I like to always refer to the summer as the year of the flood because we've had so many. And we're looking at the yellow zones. That's the really kind of the green, that's isolated. Yellow, a little more widespread, it's 15%. So Minnesota's under the gun here for today. That is for your Friday. We'll go into your Saturday. This will shift to your south. So this is getting into Milwaukee, Rockford, Des Moines, Davenport's into this. So these are Dubuque into that zone. That is for your Saturday. So this is your, again, you got that, that's a very marginal risk area stretching back into Colorado. And then day 3, this will not really move all that much. So we got to watch this area across Iowa, Wisconsin, and Kansas, because when you don't see it change much from day to day, you can be looking at some pretty localized heavy rains and some potential floodings into those zones. So we got to watch that. Southeast, got some heavy rains, some storms down there, and the monsoon starting to kick back up here this weekend. That's what should bring those temperatures down a little bit out there toward Arizona and New Mexico as the cloud cover comes back up a little bit and temperatures back off that excessive extreme heat they've been dealing with here over the last couple of days. And they're going to do it again today, unfortunately, and then we'll slowly bring it back down. All right, let's talk about the models. Let's get into that, shall we? Let's first talk about our intermediate model. We're talking about our NAM right now, and we're going to look at that real quick. Let's get that shifted over here. All right, so we're again watching that northern system. That's the system that's been causing all the headaches. You get this little thing riding along the Canadian border, and it continues, sets off these storms. And we're going to do it again going into Sunday. Look at these storms going into Sunday morning here and drifting down into Missouri. And then we got some increasing rains here across the southeast as well. So let me slow this down here for you a little bit. And we'll go into, again, you get some storms here for Friday afternoon. Seeing those storms here continue to move off across Minnesota and into Wisconsin. So we're talking about this zone up here. Let's zoom in a little bit closer here as we'll kind of watch the evolution of these storms here through the weekend. This is where the hot zone is going to be for that active weather. It moves off to the east. Then we get another line of storms here going into tonight. This is 11 o'clock tonight across Minnesota. And that pretty good squall line going into Wisconsin during the early morning hours. Always hate those nighttime thunderstorms. Those would be the scariest there. Probably some very gusty winds. That's a pretty good squall line. So that's going to have some pretty gusty winds, 60, 70 miles per hour winds there with that as that pushes off to the east and then settles on to the south. And it fizzles on out in the morning. So coming into Iowa and going into Illinois just kind of dies on out there. And then we'll see some more storms flaring up as that boundary is just kind of getting elongated, not really pushing off to the east all that much. Going into Saturday, seeing some hefty thunderstorms there. That's Saturday Saturday going into Sunday morning. So get some pretty hefty thunderstorms there across Iowa, Wisconsin. Again, that's probably why we got that heavy rain threat. It kind of fires up twice over the same ground. You see that? It fires up over there again, and then it settles down overnight going into Sunday morning. So moves on to the south, and then we'll see how it progresses going into Sunday. So that is what we're looking at there. You folks in the southeast, you're going to see your moisture kind of come back up here as well, as it looks like we're going to see. You got the easterly fletch kind of coming in here, and then it's going to become a little more southeasterly. So we're going to see more scattered showers and thunderstorms. I think Saturday's looking all right. Sunday, we're getting a little more pronounced of the thunderstorm activity across North Georgia, the Carolinas, southeast coast. So we'll get some more rains in there as well for you guys up there. Northeast, you're not looking bad, but you're going to really start heating up this weekend out ahead of that approaching front. And we're going to see some widespread 90s back in here. So I'm going to show you that here in just a second. All right. There goes your rainfall again. We're looking at that heavy rainfall. Look at that big bullseye there across Iowa into Wisconsin as that comes through with those series of storms there. Scattered storms increasing across the southeast as well. Some heavy rains across Florida and then through into portions of the Carolinas. Let's go ahead and stop this out here all the way at the end here. I want to take this all the way out to the end here. I want to take a look at the storm totals here in Iowa, for example, where we got that flooding potential here. I see a bullseye 5 inches. Yeah, there's some pretty good rains in here. 3.5, 3. There's another 5 right there. So Iowa's under the gun for some heavy rains. Wisconsin's looking at some heavy rains there as well. So again, you got a couple rounds of storms, one that's kind of decaying now, more that's going to come through later. So just watch out for that. Some heavy rains up here to the north, obviously through the areas of Dakotas that came on through, and through the UP of Michigan. Northeast not looking bad. Just look again. This is going to Sunday at 2 o'clock. Maybe a little bit of rain there. A couple of storms there. Southeast scattered storms. Texas looking dry as usual, and the West Coast also continues pretty much on the dry side into this upcoming weekend. All right, let's talk about temperatures. We are going to beat some of this down as I got this looping where you see this cold front coming through here. It's not pushing south all that much, but we are going to cool it down across the high plains, the Intermountain region. We're going to shrink that purple down a little bit. But as we go into Sunday, things are really going to start warming up here across the Northeast. You got a decent day on Saturday, and then as we go into Sunday, the Northeast is going to start to warm up here a little bit as we see middle 80s starting to shoot up in there. And then going into Monday and Tuesday next week, they're really going to warm up in there. So let's go look at this here. I'll take this out to about 4 o'clock this afternoon, 4 or 5 o'clock. Check out these temperatures out here in the plains. 105, 107. Very hot day here on Friday. 107, 106 there in the panhandle of Texas. Still got some 112s, 115s down here across California and into the Southwest. Not quite as bad as today, but still a couple of hot spots that are going to be out there for today. Look at that. You know, Chicago's getting near 90. The Southeast, the Eastern Coast is still unsettled with that easterly fetch there. I mean, 79 there near Atlanta. You definitely can't complain about that for this time of year. That is a pretty good indication there. And then behind this front here across the Intermountain region, real nice. Mid 70s. Cannot complain about that. And check out these lows here for tomorrow morning. Let's go out to tomorrow morning here. And look at these morning. Look at all this blue. Look at all this green out here in the west. I mean, it's just, that's nice. 49. Oh, that's nice. 52. And you got some decent weather here across the east as well. I mean, 57, 50s here across the northeast. That's not bad. But very hot here in the plains, though. 82 for your morning lows. 81. Ouch. That's air you can wear there to start off your mornings there across Oklahoma and Kansas going into your Saturday. How about your Sunday afternoon? We're going to get you through the weekend, all right? Let's get you into Sunday afternoon here. We'll take you all the way out here to your Sunday afternoon period here. I'll get you up to 2 o'clock here. And temperatures here. Here's upper 80s. I'm seeing upper 80s, 89. Again, we're starting to heat up here in the northeast. The Midwest is heating up. Still holding on to the clouds, unsettled weather here across the mid-Atlantic. We got 90s here in Texas, but we're saying goodbye to that extreme heat. That's backing off. And we had the 100-degree heat for Friday. By the time we get to Sunday, we're backing it off. We got the heat there, but still not as bad. And notice the Southwest. Look at this. We're back here into the hundreds and stuff. So by the time we get to Sunday, we're looking a lot better there. Although this is a 2 o'clock snapshot, it may get a few degrees warmer, but not the extreme excessive heat like we just saw yesterday. That's the good news for you folks there in the Southwest. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the big weather pattern here. I'm having to use the American GFS model this morning. For those who watch normally know that's not really my favorite model. I like to use the European, but the European model was incomplete this morning. So we're going to use the GFS here for now. Now, obviously, the first thing your attention's brought to is what the GFS has been putting out there. And I'm going to try to tell folks to be careful with this because the GFS model tends to blow things up. European does it every now and then. But again, we're in that time of year we got to watch the hurricanes. We got weakness out here in the west. We got ridging here in the east. So a lot of the country is going to be looking above normal. But then you see this nice thing coming in here toward the late end of the model run. Again, this is going out toward something developing in about after around the 17th, 18th. Now, I don't know if this is going to happen. It really depends. Like I was telling you, it all depends on what this high pressure ridge is doing out here. If it's weak, it'll curve on up to the north. If it's strong, maybe it curves into the Gulf. We don't know. It's too far. It's too early. Don't worry about that. But what I am looking at here as far as the short term is concerned here is we got a lot of ridging here in the west or in the east, and we got a little trough here in the west. So this means temperatures a little bit cooler here on the west coast, warmer here from 2/3 of the country as we go into next week. So it looks like the heat will be building. We'll see above normal temperatures for a big part of the country, although the west coast will be looking a little unsettled. I even saw that Seattle got rain, which is something they don't typically see this time of year, the other day, up to about 0.18, which is like a record for that date. I thought that was unusual seeing that. So they may get some more rain with that system coming in, going in toward Wednesday and Thursday of next week. All right, so let's go look at the short-term model run here. This is, again, your 7-day. And it looks like air mass thunderstorms just kind of popping up around across the southeast pretty good here. We've got this frontal system that's going to be moving toward the northeast, but it looks like it really fizzles on out, folks. And you're not seeing a whole lot of rain there at all. That means that heat may linger a bit into New England. It may not back off until the end of next week, unfortunately. So hopefully folks' AC systems in the northeast are ready to go. You folks in the southeast are going to remain unsettled with scattered showers and thunderstorms there. Looking there, and then the rest of the country looking at temperatures running a little bit above normal for the most part here. And again, this is your rainfall hotspots here over the next 7 days. Obviously, we got to watch that heavy rain threat here across there. That's kind of lining up with what we're seeing for this upcoming weekend. Across the north, the southeast is going to see the rain threat increasing, especially for Monday and Tuesday of next week. And we'll see a few scattered thunderstorms here across the northeast. The west stays pretty much dry for the most part here. California, Nevada, a little bit up here in the Pacific Northwest. Let's see, maybe 0.14, maybe some showers getting into Seattle there. But otherwise, that's about it there as far as the next 7 days. Again, we only focus on the rain for 7 days because anything beyond that is definitely a big extrapolation, all right? All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the temperatures, all right? We talked about Saturday. This is once again going into Sunday afternoon here. We're seeing 89, 87, 87, starting to warm up here in the Northwest. Here's some 90s back in here. 97 to 99 there in Missouri. Here's 103 near Dallas. So we got the heat up here across and look up to the northwest too, 96 up there. Now this is going to be short-lived. You know we're not going to have temperatures like this with that troughiness coming in here. So it looks like we're going to heat up in the northwest for this weekend, but as we progress into Wednesday and Thursday, that big trough moving in, we're going to back that off a bit, all right? Now, as we go ahead and take this forward here, let's go check out your Monday afternoon high temperatures here. Let's take that out to 5 o'clock here. There we go, 5 o'clock. And here come the 90s, like we were advertising, and here for the northwest, a lot of upper 80s, 90s into the Midwest, 90s into Michigan, stretching on about. Still got this heat here in the west, out ahead of that approaching trough. We got heat all up, and California is going to bake, looks like, going into Monday. So hot temperatures out here in the west, and some hot temperatures there until that trough moves on in. Let's go into your Tuesday afternoon. Let's check out your Tuesday. Still dealing with the heat out there, 5 o'clock temperatures here. We also got the heat building up here in the high plains. So you got a brief coming down this weekend, but they're going to warm right back up in the middle of the plains there. Still 90s up here in the northwest. Unsettled scattered storms across the southeast will keep the temperatures down there a bit. Hot in Texas. We got 100-degree temperatures down here. A lot of Texas under the gun with the heat there. Let's go into your Thursday. I think Thursday's when we'll start seeing that cool down in the west. Yep, there it goes. As you can see, we could trim back a lot of those 90s up this way, those hundreds that are up there. But still hot here in the west, in the interior sections here. Look at South Dakota, 102. Ouch. We're going to be very hot here in the middle of the country. Unsettled here in the east. We got daily rain chances there across the southeast to keep the temperatures down with the afternoon thunderstorms. And then Friday, we'll take this into Friday afternoon. We'll take it into the 7-day here. And we look at where that's setting up. Look at the heat here in the middle of the country. Wow. 105, 107, 102, 104. So we got a lot of heat building up here in the middle of the country as we go toward Friday. The cold front behind here, basically that heat that's going to build in the west here through the weekend is going to shift down into the plains as we go to the end of next week. And it looks like temperatures muggy in the northeast. They kind of back off a little bit with that weak front moving on through there. And the southeast starts to heat up a little bit. I know Atlanta, for example, we haven't seen a 90-degree temperature here since before July 31st, and maybe the end of next week toward the 15th we might get close to it. 89 degrees showing up there in Atlanta, for example. So looks like the story here, as you can see, toward the end of next week, a lot of heat there, folks, building up in the middle of the country. So summer is not through with us yet. Okay, that's how it's looking right there. Let's look at your climate outlook. I'm sure we're going to back this up with what we've just been talking about. So let's look at that real quick here. As we look at our climate outlook, we're going to first take a look here at the, get my interactive mode going here for you. Again, this period here is talking from the 13th to the 17th, and this pretty much backs up what we're seeing here. We got a lot of heat here across the country, a little bit below normal here in the northwest and into Southern California. You got that little troughiness that's coming on there, and it should back the temperatures off there a bit. But days 8 through 14, let's see what that looks like here. There's that. Oh, that's not updating. All right, so that's all right. So we're just going to keep with that. That's not updating for today for that, but that's all right. But you guys got the gist. The next 6 to 10 days, you got above normal temperatures are going to stay here across a big part of the country from the 13th through the 17th. So especially there in the middle of the country going to the end of next week. So again, you guys just be careful when you got to deal with this kind of heat out there, because it definitely means business. Now there it goes. It finally clicked over. I just saw it updated and I was like, oh, let me try this again. All right, so here we go. 15th to the 21st. Again, a lot of the country above normal temperatures, except for out here in the west. You got a little bit below there across the northwest and into Southern California, sitting down there as well. Again, that is for the 15th to the 21st. Precipitation-wise, I got a dry spot out there in the west. Seeing that out there, but a lot of the country, they're at or above normal with the precipitation. And we'll go out to the 8th to the 14th as well. Again, a lot of the country looking pretty normal or a little above, except for this little dry pocket out here into the west. So really, from a precipitation standpoint, not looking too bad. At least we don't have any real building severe drought coming at us out there for right now. So again, I appreciate you guys checking out the channel here for today. Again, if you are new, and if you like a no-nonsense approach to weather, if you don't want to have a hyperactive weatherman screaming at you, telling you, oh my God, storm of the century, doom and gloom, if you don't like that crap and you want somebody who's going to give it to you straight, please go ahead and please consider subscribing to the channel there and invite your family and friends. I do appreciate you guys helping us out. These live broadcasts allow us to maintain our audience until we're ready for the big live event, which we're getting ready for the hurricane season. Oh, by the way, for any subscribers who are watching, I'm going to give you guys an early preview of the Hurricane Central look. Okay, I'm going to plan on doing that probably next week, give you an idea of what the 2-person and the 1-person display is going to look like when we get ready for hurricane coverage, when we get ready for that wall-to-wall coverage here for any potential hurricanes that could potentially impact the U.S. later this season. All right, that's y'all's update for today. You guys take it easy, be good, stay safe, and we'll see you next week. You guys have a great and safe weekend. All right, we'll talk to you later.